Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. So, my journey of doing this video has been interesting. I have filmed a complete video, and I didn't like it. Not one bit. I did not like how it went forth. So I think I'm going to save that topic for when I got my thoughts straight. And I know I promised a true crime video, but I'm still doing research into this case that I want to put on the YouTubes. I just didn't realize that there wasn't a lot of coverage with the case that I'm covering, so I just want to make sure all my ducks are in a row and all the information is, right, instead of putting out crap. So just bear with me with that. So, long story short, what the fuck's this video gonna be about? And honestly, let's have a conversation. Let's get uncomfortable, guys, because fuck, it's why not? So, I have been having conversations with people who have messaged me or emailed me about fuck it. Why not? Let's just put it out there. About not being comfortable with sex. There, I said it. The S word. Ooh. And the pressure of over-sexualizing everything. And, it's true, okay? Sex, okay, honestly, guys, I have come out as bisexual. I did a whole coming out video and that whole fucking situation, and I guess immaturity, it was disgusting how that whole situation was handled. My immaturity and just, ugh. But here I am, bisexual, okay? And, I have seen in the news and the tabloids how certain people, every few months, they come out and they add something to their outing, if that makes sense. And I always got so, I was like, you know what, do you? I don't give a shit. Whatever. But I always questioned it for me, okay? Because, there are plenty of things out there that have surfaced that are new, and a lot of people don't know about it, like no-brainers and all that stuff. And I'm not ragging on the pride community. I'm just bear with me, people. Jesus Christ, we'll get the words out there. And I have never been a very sexualized person, okay? Even before my abusive situation, sex was never my drive, okay? And I know teenagers and hormones and the sex drive and all that stuff, never fucking had it. I mean, I don't get it. For me, sex is not a big fucking thing, okay? And there, I fucking said it. It is not a big thing. And I know there's a thing, asexual, that's basically they're not interested in sex. And I'm not saying that I'm not interested in sex. I'm just saying that it is not on the top of my priority list, okay? And it never has been. I can live without sex. There, I fucking said it. I'm quite comfortable not being, dropping my pants every 5 seconds, okay? Whoa, we're getting personal, but we are doing it, guys. We are doing it. And I am comfortable as a human being with that, okay? And when I went through the whole abusive situation, it lessened it even more, it was never I was shown the bad side of sex, right? I was never introduced to sex in a nice way. There, I said it. So, it's, I mean, what else can I say? I was never introduced to sex in a nice way. It was very angrily and not nice and painful and all of that shit. So, being on the other side of that and going forth into relationships and, unfortunately that comes with the package of sex, okay? And, I've had conversations with people about this that, they're kind of like in the same boat, that they feel like, like if they're not invested or interested in sex, then they're a bad person. And I get that. I've been in those situations where, people who have said that have been in relationships with me that, they're lucky that they like me or that they love me, or they would have been, basically cheating on me or getting some ass on the side. And that makes you feel like shit as a human being, as a partner, as a girlfriend, boyfriend, person. It really does make you feel like shit. And it makes you feel like, well, fuck, I have to put out the sex. Or I have to be more like, on your person, or like, very aggressive. And then it also makes you just kind of want to crawl into a ball and cry, because you're like, what the fuck's wrong with me, And it can scare you. Like, I'm not saying that I don't have a sex drive, that sex doesn't interest me. Again, it's just not my priority list, right? And after a abusive relationships that I was sexually assaulted multiple times, it's scary. And it is honestly scary to get into a sexual relationship with another human being that doesn't use it against you, doesn't use it for gain, or, takes it from you. And navigating through the nice situations of it and, getting comfortable with your own sexuality, whether that's straight, bi, all of that, pan, trans, whatever, getting comfortable with your own sexuality and getting comfortable within your own skin and body after a situation that I went through. Again, this is just my 2 cents, and maybe it helps, maybe it doesn't, I don't know. It is a journey. And for me, I took a very long time to focus on myself, and I didn't realize I needed to focus on myself. So that took me a little bit to get there. And then when I got to a place where I was like, okay, self-love, all of that, do that, it doesn't necessarily mean that you just want to jump on to the sex train. Woot woot. I have talked to people that have been in, abusive situations that are out of it, and they feel the same way, that it has taken them a long time to get to a place where they are able to have sex, right? Or, feel attractive and whatnot. And even though they've worked on the self and self-love, it is still very uncomfortable to be in your own skin after you have been violated a lot, emotionally, physically, sexually. It is a lot to just put all of those broken pieces together and just feel nice. And, the pressure of, I gotta get out there and, not to say that you have to get out there, but once you do get out there, you do realize that sex comes with the package. Whether it happens now, eventually, or whatever, it might be part of the package. Probably will be part of the package. And finding a partner that is understandable of that can be a challenge. And it's hard to navigate that, because then, you feel like you kind of have to put it out there, and you just don't want to kind of betray yourself, if that makes sense. And You yourself want to willingly be a participant in this. You just don't know how, because you were never introduced to it in a nice way. My experience. Or you've had nice experiences and it went bad and now you want to go good again. It's very hard to balance all of that out. And then when you get pressure from your partner saying, well, if I didn't like you, I would have been tapping something on the side, really makes you question shit royally. And you progress. You get to this point, you're like, yes, okay, I'm a willing participant in this, and I feel sexy and all that stuff. And then that happens. That is being said to you. That if I didn't like you so much, I would have been having a side piece. And all of that progress gets flushed down the toilet in that simple fucking sentence. And it's just like, well, alrighty. What the fuck do you do with that? And, they could be jokingly saying that, or they could half-heartedly mean it, right? But they didn't mean to come across as a dick. Newsflash, you did. Surprise! And it's just like, well, what do I do with those words? What the fuck do I do? Right? Because you might like that person. Or you might even love that person. And it's just like, well, what the fuck do you do with that information? And that kind of shuts everything down. And then they put the pressure on you. Well, I'm going to wait for you to want it. I'm going to wait for you to come to me for it. And you're just like, well, no pressure. Alrighty. Okay. Right? And you're just like, what the fuck do I do with that information? Right? You're just like, So you're definitely putting pressure on yourself. You're like, okay, okay. Well, if you don't get the sex, they'll probably go out and fuck somebody on the side. Or, they're just giving you that look. Oh, they mention constantly that they're sexually frustrated. Then you're just like, well, what do I do with that information, right? And it is I know it can be very frustrating for somebody that has never been in an abusive relationship, that they find a partner that has been in an abusive relationship, and they are thrown into the quicksand of that life, that they have to navigate all of that and figure it out as a team. And, I envy those people that have found that relationship, that navigated together, and they're married and they have children and they just seem happy, and the husband or the wife dote on their partner. They are supportive and loving, and they know that there's just so much baggage that comes with that person, but they are loving and accepting of that person no matter how long it took that person to get there. And I'm not saying that their marriage or their partnership is perfect. There's probably a lot of shit and a lot of baggage that goes through that. But, it's just like, well, how do I fucking get there? How do I get to that point? And guys, you shouldn't, or ladies, I say guys a lot, but I'm generalizing. Everybody, never ever feel pressured to put pressure on yourself to just do stuff that you aren't ready for, okay? You as a person are beautiful and handsome, and you deserve everything in the world. But don't forget, never forget, that you staying true to yourself, loving yourself first, is top priority. Making sure that you are mentally safe, that you are physically safe, and that you are willing to do something. Never ever feel like you have to. And I feel like, those words I have to hear for myself, because I am prone to put pressure on myself, to put myself in situations that I am not entirely comfortable with, but yet I throw myself into them because I hear, certain words or a certain sentence or some actions, and, you kind of you internally freak out. And I have learned to communicate with people that are in my life, partners or just really close friends, and having that support system of maybe that one person you can talk to about anything, these topics, or just having that open line of communication with your partner. And it is probably frustrating on both parts. And it's not easy to navigate through. It is not. I am not going to sit here and be like it is easy for both parties, because it is not, or it is easier for one party than not. It's probably not 100%. I have been in situations where people, say they understand, but they don't, or they use it to their advantage. I have for sure been in that situation where they've used it against me. And it's not cool, because you honestly just feel destroyed, because I know this video's all over the place, guys, but we're getting there. Brain's going all over the place, but there are different situations. It is absolutely 100% scary being out of a abusive relationship that utterly destroyed you in all physical, mental, spiritual points of your life, and just navigating after that, of getting to a good place, and you want to find that partner and have that relationship and that strength, but you also don't want to lose yourself again. You don't want to do something that somebody is pressuring you into doing, or it's just, you want to be the best version of yourself, but you sometimes don't know how to do that because you're put in certain situations that the pressure might be put on you. And this could be anything. It doesn't have to be sexual or anything of that nature. It could be other things. This topic is kind of aimed towards the sexual aspect, because I've had multiple questions about this, of how I deal with this. And it's not easy. It is physically, mentally, spiritually draining. Constantly, guys. And, from a person who was never really over sexualized, and being thrust in an abusive situation for multiple years, and then coming out of that, working on yourself, and then you're like, well, I want to get into the dating scene. I'm choosing to go into the dating scene, and realizing it can be an absolute minefield. Surprise. And then, hearing those sayings that from people that you thought you cared about and do care about and love, and you feel like you're a piece of shit because you never thought that you would hear those words from a person that you thought you loved and trust, and you might still love and trust them, guys. You just don't know how to navigate that sexual aspect, and it's not easy to always communicate that, because that person sometimes either puts their needs before yours, or they don't want to understand how much of a challenge it is for you to put yourself forth and be in a partnership in that situation, if that makes sense. And, it can be absolutely frustrating for yourself. And don't feel bad that you are feeling frustrated, or that you just don't know how to have that conversation or communication because you kind of feel like you're being shut down, or you might have a really good communication in relationships. And I'm going to be frank and say that it has, in certain situations, taken a long time, a few fights to come to a good communication line of, having that open communication of how either sides are feeling and whatnot, and growing as individuals and together. And then you kind of get thrown those tidbits of those words, and it utterly destroys you inside because you thought that you yourself are in a good place, the partnership is in a good place, and then you just kind of feel like this pressure has been thrust upon you, or you kind of just feel like you're not a good partner. And it is okay to feel those things. It is okay to question things. And if I am your safe place to have these conversations with guys, feel free. I know how challenging it can be to just feel, hello, speak English, alone in these situations. And how you're feeling certain things, and you're like, well, I shouldn't be feeling these things. Well, why not? Why shouldn't you be feeling those things? It doesn't have to stem from coming from an abusive relationship. It doesn't have to stem from a dating aspect. It could just be friends being friends, or casually dating. It doesn't necessarily have to be a straight road. It is hard to navigate as a human being, and when so many people are telling you what to say, what to do, what to wear, you have to look a certain way, be a certain way, do things a certain way, and you're just like, well, no, fuck you. Like, why do I have to do that? And why do I have to be that person? And again, it doesn't necessarily have to relate to sex, but I know a few people were questioning about that, so this is why I'm doing this. I've already said that, but just kind of drilling it home just to make everybody hear that I'm not saying that this is an end-all be-all situation. This is just my 2 cents and how I've dealt with certain things, and I've felt things that people have expressed that they were feeling but are confused, right? And again, take everything with a grain of salt. If this helps, great. If this opens a line of communication, that's good too. If this is just something that might help with you having that conversation with a loved one, or a partner, or so on and so forth, then I'm glad. And again, this isn't an end all be all for every situation. Every situation is different. But yeah, I just basically, the aspect of this is you are not alone. And remember that your safety and mental welfare and all of that comes first. And never feel pressured to do something you're not comfortable doing or ready for. And, if you do feel confused and frustrated, just know you aren't alone. Every situation is different, but there are people that, do feel those things too. Anyways, guys, wow, this is a video. Sorry, family seeing this. My bad. Whew, we're out there. But, this is why I've done this channel. To get uncomfortable, to have these conversations that people aren't necessarily wanting to talk about, but the feeling, and, they want to, and they have questions, and are kind of wondering, am I the only one feeling these things? This channel, good Lord, it's a lot of things. We have good days, we have bad days, we have frustrating days, we have confusion and frustration. And yes, is this video a little bit embarrassing to do. A little bit. It's a little bit uncomfortable. But I am willing to have these conversations because I think that they are important to have. I know how alone and isolating everything can be. And again, not every situation is the same, but feeling those things of isolation and frustration, it's scary. And I don't want anybody to feel like they are alone. So I'm willing to have uncomfortable situations, guys. I'm one of those people. I can get uncomfortable and I can listen and be a sounding board. But anyways, guys, I'm going to leave this video here. Remember, never give up, always keep fighting, you're enough, and you are very much loved. And I'm sorry it's getting dark, but filming was a shit show today. But anyways, guys, sending my love. Hope you guys are staying safe. And I will see you in the next video.